Alright, the Hammer of Retribution is the fighter's first ranged weapon, and if you judge it solely on the projectile damage, it's also his strongest weapon. At a distance, it throws out flaming hammers that explode on contact, causing damage, plus the explosions have blast damage as well. However, they don't harm the fighter, so that's a plus. It can also be used at melee range, but deals less damage than the mana-powered axe, so only use the hammer for long-range combat. Now 200 is the maximum damage the projectiles can do, but that's very rare, as the damage done is very dependent on where you hit the enemy and how much of the blast damage it absorbs. But all in all, this is a great weapon, especially since it allows the fighter to use a tactic other than wading into the middle of enemies.
Stop! Hammer time!
Alrighty here. Now that we have our magical flaming hammers, we can take these things out from a distance. You know, I don't know what it is about this weapon, but I just love throwing hammers! Who doesn't love throwing hammers? Especially hammers of joy! Totally bitchin', right? Not to mention it only takes 2 to kill a Chaos Serpent. Now that is totally bitchin'. And not to mention we don't have to wade right into them head first. Although, oddly enough, I still managed to get hit by the poor bastard, which is, I must say, quite depressing on my part. I'm oddly ashamed of myself there, and he dies from the trap. We didn't actually even get to kill him. Shame on us. Now, of course, activating those pillars over there that raised up also activated a trap that you see flying around there, and I don't know why I'm throwing orbital hammers, man. I don't know why. I just love throwing hammers here. Now, you can hit the switch and run over here, but that's not a very smart idea. Because, you know, the trap will activate, the Chaos Serpents are roaming around there, and you'd be a lot closer, and probably going to die. Anyway, deal with the birds there. Now, you may have noticed that little item that I picked up there that looked kind of like a, well, kind of like a Minotaur. That's called the Dark Servant. I'll explain him in just a second. Right now we need to hit this switch, which will raise a little staircase around that center area there that we can climb up, and now we can finally hit a switch on top of here that will shut this trap off. Yay. Anyway, the Dark Servant, for those of you that have played Heretic, you may remember the boss called the Molitar, I think at the end of Act 2, or the second chapter, something like that. Pretty gnarly. Well, he does the same thing here, except he fights for you. Yes, he dashes along the ground, throws out little fire trails from his hammer and other weird shit like that. Pretty bitchin' in a wide open area, not so much in narrow hallways because it's too frickin' big to walk around in there. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is kill all these stalkers here because, like I say, there's a little bit of backtracking that we're going to have to do, and it's kind of annoying to be running through here and have one of those fuckers pop up right in front of you and slash you across the face. You know what I mean? Of course you do. Finish off the Etten here, replenish our health, and we are now ready to take on our first stage, the Dark Mirror.
The Dark Mirror. Treacherous swamps have become even deadlier. The rot and the mire obscures many dangers, as well as the means of progression.
Alright, so the Dark Mirror. Holy shit. I didn't know you could blow trees up with the fucking thing. That's a gnarly-ass little hammer, man. I love this thing. I love it even more now. Yes. Anyway, the Dark Mirror, that's right, that's where I was. After I kill these stalkers here. It's our first swamp level and our first level of the hub. It's also my personal favorite, too, because it's the only semi-bright level in the open area, which is always nice. It's fairly easy if you know what you're doing. It's got a nice little fog texture there that the N64 is so common for in these first-person shooters. Let's see. Yeah, I knew you were hiding there somewhere. Of course, we're gonna bitch kill these Afrit in these jars here, because once you enter that room, those pillars will drop down. And then they'll be released into the room, and they're a lot bigger threat to deal with. Best to take them out now while they can't fire back at you. Now we've got that taken care of, we can go in here. Well, I say that. One more. Damn. There we go. Now that we've got that taken care of, we can replenish our flechettes here and carry on. Now, let's see here. The way that this hub is worked is that in order to gain access to the hypostyle, you have to solve 6 pieces of... There's a puzzle that you have to solve that's made up of 6 different pieces. Alright, you're solving in 6, in other words, to put it simply. Of course, I never like to put it simply, that's why I overcomplicated that shit for you. Thank you very much. Anyway, each level has 2 switches in it, and each level also has a key. Like the Dark Mirror has the Swamp Key, as mentioned in the intro to the Shadowwood. The Swamp Key, Wastelands has the Horn Key, and the Caves of Cirrus have, well, the Cave Key. That makes sense. Now, in addition to the keys, each level also has 2 locked doors, locked with the other level's respective keys. So, the Swamp will have 2 doors locked with the Horn Key and the Cave Key. Wastelands will have 2 doors locked with the Swamp Key, Cave Key. You get the picture. Behind each door is a puzzle switch, like in the 7 portals. And this puzzle fucked me over for at least 30 minutes. It took me that fucking long to figure out that you had to light up the little statue there. So yeah, that was not a happy time for me. Thank you very much. Now anyway, like I say, it's just like the 7 portals. You hit these switches, you solve the puzzle. But unlike the 7 portals, they actually use proper math here, which is great. 6 switches, 6 pieces to the puzzle. It's not like the 7 portals where, you know, you're solving in thirds, but yet there's 9 switches you have to fucking hit. So, good on you, id Software. Speaking of id Software, I've gotten a couple of messages stating that I was mistaken that id Software released the game. No, I was not. Let me clear that shit up right now. Put it in little kindergartner terms here for you. I said id Software published the game, which they did. Raven Studios are the ones that produced it, but id Software published it. There you go. Now you have the facts, so fuck you very much. Now, back to the game. Kill this Chaos Serpent. Well, he wasn't able to shoot out the window last time, but anyway, it's better to kill him while he's trapped in there. That switch will raise another switch that we have to hit in the next upcoming area here. Well, that's going to hurt. What a time to save. Oh, that wasn't so bad. It only did 7 points of damage. That one, on the other hand, hurt quite a bit. And yes, the stalkers from now on have the ability to throw green shit at you. I guess snot or poisonous slime, whatever. And this is the other room that I was talking about that glitches up in the emulator whenever you face the castle. I think it's just giant, wide open areas that fuck the emulator up. Now, you don't have to kill all the stalkers here, but you'd be wise to do so. I mean, who likes getting smacked upside the head with that green shit when you're just trying to run through here? Not this guy, so I'm going to kill them all. Thank you very much. Now, this little passageway leads back up to where we first teleported into the level. We don't really need to go back up there, but it is a nice shortcut when we return here. So yeah. And that switch you see there is the one that raised when we hit the other switch. This lowers the entrance to the castle, in which we are greeted by its doorman, Mr. Chaos Serpent, who falls rather easily to our mighty hammer. Now, something you want to note with the hammer is that on those centaurs, if they have their shield up and they're in their defensive position, do not throw any hammers at them, because, like I said before, I do believe, they can bounce back your magical attacks. That includes your hammers, and while your hammers don't hurt you, if you just throw them, if they get bounced back at you, yeah, they're gonna fuck you up pretty badly. I love the hit detection in this game. It's clearly not hitting the wall, but for some reason, it's registering that it is, instead of yet. Love it. Totally bitchin'. Now, you can do these stages in any order that you want, unlike the 7 portals, but personally I prefer to go through it this way and do the cave level last, because like I say, I really hate that level. And this level, it's not so bad, so I can kind of stand to come here twice, which you're going to have to go to at least 2 of the levels twice. And which, of course, unlike the 7 portals, and that switch there opened that door that was in that building that we couldn't get to, but which is where we're going to head after we killed all these Chaos Serpents. But, like I'm saying, unlike the 7 portals where you can get through it relatively quickly, especially if you're not trying to go out for the secret level, this one is a bit more tedious. Come on. Oh, that's brilliant, yes. Don't know why I have a fetish for jumping right into the path of those fireballs. Did it again, son of a bitch. I love getting fireballed to the face. Alrighty there, see if we can't take out these guys on the other side now, which... there's one, and... fucking Eppin. Kill him. And you know what? Hell with it, I think we're just gonna go up to the top here, that way we can take them out on even ground, if you know what I mean.